You see the little shit going. That's a video. What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Tyson, the Gypsy King Fury. Get this. Tyson Fury states, he says, "You saw what happened to Whyte. I won't overlook Wilder." Wow. The Gypsy King also had this to say. He said, "The fact of the matter is I don't need any of their fighters. They need me. I'm the only undefeated world heavyweight champion out there. All the rest have been beaten, left by the wayside, stopped and battered. They need me." All the rest have been beaten. I am the standalone, the Gypsy King, giant ruling the division, ruling the roost, Fury told BT Sports. He says, "I don't need their money. I don't need what they can bring to the table. But for the fans, you want the biggest fights possible. And the biggest fight out there is me against Joshua. They have nothing to lose. They've already been knocked out and beat. I'm the only one who has something to lose. The big O, no defeats, I'm carrying around with me. All these boxers, the Joshuas, the Chisoras, the Whytes, the Povetkins, all of these people are on a similar level. I see them as 4, 5, and 6s, and at any time they can take each other out. It shows you what level they're at." Wow. He says, "As you saw Saturday, if you overlook someone, you get banged on the chin," Fury says. "I just want to concentrate on Deontay Wilder, the most dangerous fighter on the planet and history has ever had. I know Deontay Wilder is the most dangerous heavyweight out there." Wow. Let me counterpunch. Tyson Fury, he wears the undefeated record like a badge of honor. No, nothing wrong with that. But then I see some contradicting things here, and let me counterpunch. First off, you said you don't need them, they need you. You want for the fans that everyone wants to see who? Joshua. You and Joshua get it on. But you included Joshua with the Chisoras, with the Povetkins, with the Whytes. You've compared you've put him in that category. Okay. But then yet you said I won't be like Whyte. But you mentioned Joshua's name and what the fans wanted before ever mentioning Deontay Wilder. Okay? In this paragraph that I just read to you guys. So that can be rather a little, it could be contradicting because the first thing that you mention is pretty much the priority. And then the second thing after that is everything else down the wayside, and whatever. And the last thing that you mentioned, it doesn't matter what you say, in the back of your mind, the Anthony Joshua fight is the fight people want to see, and that's been the talk of the town. Not a trilogy fight with Deontay Wilder. However, I do understand the psychology of the matter. Don't take your eye off the ball because it could happen to anybody, including Fury. And I think Fury wants to take heed, or he wants to speak it, believe it, receive it in retrospect, that he won't be that way, that he won't get into a situation where he's flat on his back and losing everything, including the Anthony Joshua fight. So I think me counterpunching Tyson Fury, okay? I think Tyson Fury should just stop talking about Anthony Joshua altogether. And surely don't put Anthony Joshua in it with the Chisoras, who you already fought him. With the Whytes, you never fought him, but he just lost. With the Povetkins, you never fought him either. Okay? So you're saying that anyone can take each other's place. I get that, but those are 4, 5s, and 6s. Well, if that's the case, who's 1, 2, and 3? You see what I mean? So I'm kind of confused on that one. I'm not really sure what he meant by that, but I feel that he should leave Joshua's name out of his mouth until he can defeat Deontay Wilder. I think he needs focus on that because, like I told you guys, it'll be that fight, that only one fight left that you need to win, and that could turn into be the hardest, most difficult fight ever in history. Just because it's the last one to get you where you need to be and where all the fans want to see. You and Joshua, right? With all the belts. So make sure you leave with that belt. So I counterpunched Tyson Fury again. Stop talking about Anthony Joshua like I counterpunched Anthony Joshua. Stop talking about Tyson Fury, because that's a fight after the fight you need to be focusing on. So you shouldn't be worried about that fight. Okay. So, but I like it. It sounds good that Fury said you saw what happened to Whyte, but I think he's true. But I think he mentioned that just to rub it in just a little bit more. But then have some truth behind it. Because that's Tyson Fury. He'll say something to you, and if you notice all of his insulting words, rather, if it's not big dosser or shithouse, it's one of those things where he's saying something about you, but it's also true. But it's meant to be derogatory. So I think that's what he meant. I could be wrong, but I think him saying this about Dillian Whyte is another half of roast or a roasting comment that he wants to just put out there to Dillian Whyte. Did you seen what happened to Whyte? I won't overlook Wilder, right? So he wants to make an example out of Whyte because he's the guy that got himself in the same situation talking about fighting Tyson Fury, ended up getting knocked out by another opponent, which you should have had 110% focus on. But anyway, that's my counterpunch on Tyson Fury's statement. You guys tell me what you think about his comments. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.